name's Rachel and today we are talking about Fairest by Gail Carson Levine. This video is brought to you by one of my Therapy Bills patrons, Jill. If you're part of the Therapy Bills tier, you can request me to do an in-depth review and eventually I get to it. This was Jill's request and I actually liked it. It's rare that I get a request and I like the book.
Hello, it is I, Trash Can Rachel, yet again. Again, I had a couple people, one, maybe two more people join my Therapy Bills patron tier, and I didn't want to leave anybody out, so I'm filming like this. Isn't this exciting? So I wanted to say thank you for being a friend to my Therapy Bills patrons, which are Elena, Amanda, Ashley, Carlin, Claire, Des, Ella, Eric, Harley, Jack, Jill, John E, Kate B, Quinn, Lee, Lex, Molly, Rain, SJ, Scarlett, Sierra, Tori, and Zachary. Thank you all so much for being a friend. Okay, bye from Trash Can Rachel.
Let me give you the synopsis. In the kingdom of Aortha, who is the fairest of them all? Certainly not Aza. She's thoroughly convinced that she is ugly. What she may lack in looks, though, she makes up for with a kind heart and with someone no one else has, a magical voice. Her vocal talents captivate all who hear them, and in Antio Castle, they attract the attention of a handsome prince and a dangerous new queen. In this masterful novel filled with humor, adventure, romance, and song, Gail Carson Levine invites you to join Aza as she discovers how exquisite she actually is. This is technically a Snow White retelling, but Snow White in this book is Aza, and she's not the fairest of them all. She is the best singer of them all. She works at her family's inn, but there's like a countess, some sort of lady with money takes her with her to the capital, where there is a king, obviously, and he's marrying a new queen, Queen Ivy, who's supposed to be very beautiful. So she goes to court and she meets the newly crowned Queen Ivy, who initially seems nice to her, but slowly reveals her true colors and her not so beautiful inside. In this way, the author took a pretty superficial fairy tale that didn't have like much to it, didn't really have like a good, you know how fairy tales in the old days served as like warnings for children, and now we sort of use them to teach things like kindness to yourself, loving your family, loving your friends. In this way, Gail Carson Levine took Snow White, which was a pretty empty fairy tale, and turned it into a story with better depth and like thematic exploration of what it means to be beautiful both inside and out. While this technically is a retelling, it is its own thing. In fact, I completely forgot that it was a retelling many times while reading it, until like there was the whole guy is told by the queen to take Snow White out into the forest and kill her, and then he doesn't, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a Snow White retelling. I forgot about that. Are there 7 dwarfs though? No. There's gnomes, not 7 of them, but there is gnomes. This is middle grade, but I recommend it for, first of all, this was written by the same author and it's in the same world as Ella Enchanted. You do not have to read Ella Enchanted in order to read this, and you don't have to read this in order to read Ella Enchanted. You can read one or both or none, I guess. Though I think you should. I really loved the movie Ella Enchanted when I was in high school. I wasn't allowed to read the book when I was a kid. I don't know that my mom ever even looked at it, but yeah, it's not something that I, had access to. And then I watched the movie in high school and I just fell in love, so I read the book several times. And if you loved Ella Enchanted, you should read this. It's going to be very nostalgic for you. But I also recommend it for adults who are looking for something like Robin Hobb, but just kind of want like a fun short read and don't want to read very long Robin Hobb books over, specifically Live Ship Traders, very long drawn out stories. Theme wise, it's perfect for the age group that it's written for, where it's like discussing self-esteem and loving yourself for who you are on the inside, and not, valuing your looks as much as valuing like who you are as a person. It also goes into like friendship between girls and how often that can unfortunately be a place for so many of us growing up who are girls, who find pain in those friendships, and how girls can fail each other at being good friends. I think that those themes are well done, similarly to its companion Ella Enchanted. But I think that the charm and the whimsy here, the way that it's written, the magic, I think that this will appeal to adults who like Robin Hobb's Live Ship Trader series. There's something about the way that Gail and Robin both write. There's some like core similarity here that I can't quite put my finger on. If it's like the worlds they they build or the characters or both, the way that they interact with each other, it just, in my mind, sort of puts them in the same sort of category. They feel very similar. So if you're an adult who likes the Live Ship Trader series, then I think you should try Gail's books if you're looking for something a little more fun and a little bit younger and a little bit more like a whimsical romp, but still has that feeling that you get with Robin's unique sort of like magic that she creates and the unique worlds in which that magic is exhibited. I did struggle with the pacing of this, which is part of why I gave it 3.5 stars, but wow, did I love the journeys that we went on, especially our time with the gnomes. Gail does a great job at creating really unique like cultures, magic, similar to how Robin Hobb does. Our time with the gnomes and learning about their culture was like such a treat. The magic here is just as fun as all the magic in Ella Enchanted. You'll actually see some, if you've read Ella Enchanted, you'll see a couple of familiar faces, but I really love the magic of illusing and how Aza was able to like cast her voice and do impressions, so like she could cast her voice to make it seem like the cat was, you know, singing or whatever. It's a really unique idea, but the singing here goes even like further, where Gail created this entire culture that sings even in conversation. They sing when they're happy or when someone is sick or when there's a wedding or when they want to give somebody a gift. I loved that. It's so outside the norm of what we see in fantasy these days, and I would like to see authors do more than that. Eorthy as a country, as I said, it's really cool that they have that culture around singing, but I don't really have a clear picture of what this kingdom looks like, so I wish that we would have had a bit more description. However, I understand that the need for this to be a book filled with more like introspection based on who the author wrote it for. I mean, like that makes sense, right? It's more introspective than anything else. But making the setting just as unique as like the customs of these cultures would have been fun to see. The other reasons why this was good but not a 5-star. The villain, I'll keep this spoiler free, but the villain was hinted at in the beginning and then we see them again later, but they sort of just like dropped off the book at the end. Like, oh, that's the big bad, and they're gone. And they were never found. Admittedly, it's hard to like do, like fairy tales these days are not like how we do Snow White where the queen like literally dies at the end. It's hard to do like whimsy, but then also deal with like awful villain stuff. So I'm not exactly sure what kind of ending I could realistically hope for with this baddie, but just having them drop off was kind of a bummer. I wish that we could have done more with that. So I do like villains. Yeah. This is one of those books that I could see myself rereading the way that I did both with Ella Enchanted and a similar book, East by Edith Patu. East shares a lot of similarities with Gail's writing in like theme and structure and who it's written for. So if you love Gail's books but you want to try another author that's similar but not as wordy as Robin Hobb, try East by Edith Patu. It is also a retelling of a fairy tale and I love that book. It's one of my all-time favorites. Actually, I might still have my copy somewhere. I don't know where it is. Oh, there she is. This one, East. This is actually my original copy. It's very yellowed and gross. It's so fun, and you get POVs from the Troll Queen and you get POVs from Rose, the main character, and her father. I just love this book so much. It's so good. It's almost 500 pages and it is worth the read. But it's like big text, so it's middle grade also. Wait, or is this YA? I don't know. Please read it. It's so good. I love this. Jill, if you haven't read this, you should read it. So I gave this 3.5 out of 5. I rounded up to 4 on Goodreads because I think it deserves me rounding up. But it's a fun read if you're just looking for something light that goes into themes but not like too deeply. It doesn't get really dark, and especially if you're looking for something for like a newer fantasy reader who's like between 8 and 14, this is a good way to go. I highly recommend this one. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments and questions down below. If you want to join Patreon, you can. Thanks again to Jill for commissioning this, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Before I go, I have to say thank you for being a friend to my potato starch Marxists, and those are Abby, Aiden, Alicia, Allison, Andy, Anita, Artie the Ninth, Ava, BB, Bethann, Ray, Brittany, Caitlin, Carlin, Catherine, Kathy, Celia, Cheyenne, CJ, Corwin, Corey, Darren, Deandra, Deborah, Diet Goth, Dorian, Douglas, Ebby, Eden, Elise, Faith, Grace, Gracie, Haley, Hannah C, Hannah T, Helen, Horror Goose, India Inks, JT, Jen with 2 N's, Jillian, Joni, Jules, Kaylee, Kate, Katya, Keely, Kelsey, Kylie, Laura, Lauren B, Library of Scars, Martin, Maddie, Marcella, Marquita, Malara, Model RK300, Moog, Morgan R, Moth, James, Nat, Nicole R, Nicole T, Paige E, Paige P, Peggy, Pixel Stars, Rachel B, Rachel S, Rachel, who is my friend on Twitter, Reba, Ren, Lynn, Robin, Rowan, Sarah, Scarlett, Shanae, Shannon, Sheena K, Shiny, Sean, Talia, Tiana, Ursula, Valentine, Ryder A, and Yesenia. Thank you all so much for being a friend.